Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So I actually have been kind of struggling a little bit with wanting to sketch in my sketchbook lately, and I think part of it is just because I've been working more or less on digital stuff, and for some reason, usually whenever I work on different projects or anything that requires a little bit more energy and attention to a different area, let's say like digital artwork, I tend to get an itch or a need to do either like traditional art or to do, let's say, I don't know, just like painting, sketching, or even just like sketching digitally of something completely unrelated to the project that I'm working on. And for some reason, lately, it's just not been really happening all too much. I feel like I have more ideas for illustrations that I want to complete, but I don't really start on them because I know they'll take a longer period of time to work on. But in terms of my sketchbook, so usually when I neglect my sketchbook to some degree, it's because I'm working on stuff digitally, and I feel like if I'm not working on something digitally that is for the project, that I'm wasting time. But for some reason, yeah, I don't know. I just haven't had the urge to draw in my sketchbook at all just lately. I think part of it is because I didn't really give myself time to think about whatever I wanted to draw or sketch or like whatever I wanted to do in my free time. And the more that I'm thinking about it while I was kind of like editing today's video, I was finding myself wanting to do more watercolor painting once again, but obviously, I usually don't do a lot of watercolor painting in this particular sketchbook due to like the paper type is like very thin. It's notebook paper, so it doesn't really hold up watercolors all that well. Well, I guess like with that being said, it's not like I can't do watercolors in that like in this particular sketchbook, but I would like to do like more finished pieces and do something a little bit more ambitious when it comes to like watercolor painting, because part of me also just likes the ability to work on a piece for a longer period of time and actually really liking that piece. It's similar to like what I worked on Saturday's video. I did split up that Natsume illustration like across a few days, I think, and it gave me a little bit more time to appreciate the process a little bit more. But when I work on like sketchbook spreads, maybe I should have talked about this at the very beginning. So the video is going to be split kind of in two parts. So the current session that you're going to be seeing me work on right now is that I'm sketching with the Pilot Color Eno. I'm drawing Reimu Endo, by the way, from Nijisan GEN. So she is a VTuber and she's one of my Oshis. So I'm sketching with the Pilot Color Eno in the color red. Then I am doing a little bit of line work. Or let's see, actually, I'm not using the Pilot Color today, or at least not for this part of the session. So I used a kind of like light pink, the one that I'm currently holding, as kind of like my base color in terms of sketching, leaving things rough if I wanted to, and shading a little bit. And then I will take a ballpoint pen and do some cleaner lines, darken up some things to make kind of the sketch stand out a little bit more. After that, I will go back in with a few other colors. So this time, the color palette that I decided to choose for today's spread is actually just two different kinds of blues and two kind of pinks. So unfortunately, because of how my camera, and I feel like any camera just doesn't really do it justice all that much, is that I chose a very neon pink. It's very like fluorescent looking, but it doesn't really show up on camera. But I only use it like towards the end a little bit to kind of like outline this particular Reimu, and I don't think I use it all too much in the rest of the other drawings for today. But I kind of like doing this because it kind of keeps things a little bit loose. I can focus on shading like kind of afterwards. And I kind of went back and dug around my old sketchbooks that have similar paper type to my current sketchbook, which I mentioned earlier. It is kind of like more notebook paper, very thin, kind of a slight off-white, and very smooth. So the reason being is that I wanted to take a quick look at whatever mediums or sketching methods that I enjoyed in the past to kind of re-spark that joy of wanting to sketch in my sketchbook. I usually go through different waves of either going ham in my sketchbook, where I sketch for, I don't know, like even a spread a day, a few spreads each day, kind of that kind of mentality. And then I get into this period where I only sketch in my sketchbook almost like once a week, and luckily, a part of me, I don't know if I regret doing this, but the reason why I like posting 3 videos a week is that the Monday video, at least, Wednesday and Saturday is kind of like up in the air in terms of what I usually upload, but Monday is like dedicated to traditional artwork almost inevitably. And the reason being is that I don't want to ever lose the habit of sketching or doing traditional art, because in the past I have like gone full blown into digital art to the point where I feel like sometimes I got too rusty whenever I had to work like on pencil and paper, but luckily because I studied in fine arts, I was still able to keep up with those skills a little bit. And I don't know, I find just the process and the tactility of working with traditional medium just more up my alley sometimes, and it probably is because of the process and just like learning techniques and stuff I really do enjoy. But because I'm a little bit busy with like con prep and some other things for like future video stuff, like whether or not it's for sponsored videos or just like other digital projects that I want to tackle, including the flower zine, I have not even started on it, which makes me sad. But I'm going to push that towards like the later half, so probably after August, and spend the rest of the year probably working on that if I can, because I don't really want to focus on it right now. It doesn't help that we're pretty much in the middle of April, and we're approaching the summer super quickly, so I am getting a little bit nervous until like, or at least like up until probably August, where I'll probably kind of a sigh of relief where I can just enjoy the convention and stuff. But before I get too sidetracked, Monday videos. So yes, Monday videos is like dedicated to traditional art, and it pushes me to not really abandon something that I know I enjoy a lot. Now in the future, for sure, I'm going to switch it up and not always work in my sketchbook. Like I mentioned, usually whenever I do like watercolor painting, I think even like acrylic painting, anything that's like of a larger scale that has nothing to do with this personal sketchbook, I tend to do it for a different kind of video where I post it on Wednesday or Saturday. But I feel like if I'm going to dedicate my time to working on those particular traditional pieces, I'll just post it on Monday as the sketchbook video, so I don't feel pressured to do both in the same week. But for the most part, I'm going to try my best to kind of push through and always try to sketch in my sketchbook at least once a week because of the Monday video. But the thing is, it's like for these particular sessions, oh, I guess I didn't really explain it either. So I recorded this particular session on, I think, is it Saturday? No, Friday. I sketched this on Friday, I filmed it on Friday, and I was kind of like anticipating the AR live. So if you're a Niji fan and you were kind of excited to watch the AR live, which is basically a 3D model concert that the VTubers had, and I think it was like 2.5 hours, I think, because they merged the 2 different live portions together. But I was not able to watch it live because I think a lot of you guys are aware of this, but I have not been doing like live streams all that much, and sometimes I've been having more late uploads. And it's the reason being is that ever since I've moved my setup downstairs to a different area, the internet has been so spotty and so bad. I've been having troubles uploading larger files, which I usually have to export the video off of my computer onto a memory stick, and then take the memory stick to my laptop and then upload it via my laptop. But for live streams, I'm not really able to live stream because of how spotty it is, and it would cut out like at random times. So until I get that fixed, I won't be able to live stream for quite a bit unless I move a few of my stuff upstairs, which I will do in the future. If I want to do like a late night session, and maybe we can do like an ASMR live stream or something like that, where I'll do either minimal talking or no talking, and you guys can just have the sounds of the iPad and me drawing and stuff, or I'll just do a normal live stream on my laptop at like a later date. But during the session, I was talking to a friend about the AR live, and because I was not able to watch the actual live stream portion because of the spotty internet, I was just like low-key drawing to cope with the fact that I wasn't going to be able to watch it. Oh, also, these sketches. I was actually going to do a clay video, but because I have no means to be able to bake this particular little clay piece, I am going to postpone that. I haven't even finished sculpting that entire thing, but I'll kind of like accumulate footage for a future video. And once I can get probably an older, is it called a microwave oven? I forget what it's called. A toaster oven. Yes. If I get like a used toaster oven, maybe I'll dedicate that to a thing that I can use to bake small clay projects, because I don't want to use my family's oven. I've just read too many different like conflicting things about like toxic fumes and all that stuff, and like you can clean your oven, but or like some people say you can contain the fumes, or just like don't burn your clay and stuff. But I don't trust myself being able to make sure that doesn't happen, so I rather have like a dedicated toaster oven for that. So in the future, once I can get that figured out, I will definitely do more clay projects, because I like air dried clay, but I would love to work with polymer clay and do some more detailed stuff, or some of the projects that I always wanted to make for myself. But that'll be for a future me problem. So in terms of like the AR live, this particular session. So this session's actually recorded before watching the VOD of it. So this is on Sunday that I'm doing this portion of the sketching. On Saturday, I was just working on a bunch of stuff, so I didn't really have time to watch it, nor did I have the internet to watch it fully anyways. But reading all like the Twitter stuff and talking to my friend about AR Live, I was getting like a lot of FOMO. So part of me was channeling that FOMO into sketches, which I don't know, for me, a part of me not wanting to draw in my sketchbook has also been a little bit of confusion and just a lack of interest in my current fandoms that I'm in. Mine is 17. I've been just like putting 17 on the back burner in terms of making art for them, because I want to enjoy them as they are rather than having to need to always draw them. So I've been kind of separating that a little bit, but I'll draw them more in the future eventually, once I get over this kind of separation of like my interests versus always feeling the need to record everything, if that makes sense. Maybe I'll talk about that in a different video. But for this particular session, so I have been, I don't know, floating about in terms of the current fandoms I'm in. I feel like because I'm drawing for Ensemble Stars, I haven't had a lot of time to play my Genshin and my Honkai Star Rail as in depth as I used to. So I've been not really drawing as many of the Genshin characters or the Honkai Star Rail characters. Like I said, I don't really draw as much 17 anymore. I've been drawing a lot more of my OCs, but I'm afraid you guys might get sick of them, so I didn't really want to do another OC video for today, maybe for next week. But another fandom that I'm in is just like VTubers in general, and a lot of you guys already know that I have a few Nijisanji Oshis. I've drawn a lot of them in the past as well. But I don't know, because 2024 has been already mentally draining in general for many different reasons, I kind of like taken a step back. But now that I've been so excited about like AR Live and just like a bunch of other things, I'm just gonna let myself enjoy the things that I want to enjoy and just draw whatever. So I've kind of wanted to draw Reimu again on Sunday, which is this session. Instead, I decided to kind of use the Palette Color Ino in the color red to do the sketch, and then we are using 3 colored markers, water-based markers, which are the Magicfly dual-ended fine liner and brush tip. Color them in, and then after that I will use the, is it the Pilot or Pentel? I don't have my, let me see. It is the Pentel Energel Glenna pen to do kind of like the line work and just adding more details and stuff. So the thing that I've noticed is that for the last few spreads in my sketchbook has been mostly like very light pencil work and just kind of like scrap ideas that I've basically put down. You'll see a little bit towards the end, I think. If not, I think it was during when I was showing the clay footage, that the pencil sketches are like very light, very unfinished, and very, I don't know how to explain them. I feel like I could have just jot them down onto a sticky note rather than assigning like a few spreads to those particular sketches. But it did leave me feeling a little bit I don't know, like my sketchbook was drained a little bit of color. So I love graphite work and pencil work and stuff, but I love it when I can push the contrast a little bit more. And for these ones, it just made my sketchbook feel a little bit dead, so I wanted to return to the next few spreads by using color, hence me using the colored pencils for the first particular spread. And then for this one, I'm using the water-based markers and then having that contrast with the Pentel Energel Clean pen, and then the other one had the ballpoint pen, which is kind of nice because it has been a little while since I've done at least a spread like that in my sketchbook. I'm gonna take a quick look actually, because when was the last time I did water-based markers? I think it's been quite a while. I don't even know if I did it for a video. Oh yeah. So the other one I did was actually the first time I got the Pentel Energel Clean pen, and I did like a Masaki spread, and then before that was the Chiori spread. So I can already tell by looking at my past pages in my sketchbook where kind of like my energy started to really dwindle and started to shift, because once I have like only spreads in my sketchbooks that I know I made videos for, that's when I knew like, you know, I was only drawing it because I needed to put the sketchbook video for that week together. So it kind of makes me sad. I'm going to see, depending on how today goes, I'm gonna set up my station in my bed and just like, I used to do this all the time where I would just like lean against either the wall or something next to or on my bed, and then I would dim all the lights and stuff, have one lamp on, and I would just sketch in my sketchbook of literally whatever and just let a few hours roll by. And it was really nice because at the time I would maybe work on like 1 or 2 spreads, but because now I feel like I either spend way too long on a spread or I go through so many spreads, it'd be kind of nice to see where I'm at, because something I do miss is just working with graphite to the same degree that I usually do, where I do push the values and make things look a little bit more polished and finished. But part of me also just hasn't had the patience really like recently to do more like detailed work, being a little bit more precise. You probably see it a little bit during this inking portion that after I do this particular Reimu, I feel like I'm just like finished with the page, and I end up making the other 2 on the left side of the page a little bit more rough and a little less finished. So I don't know, my energy for like just being put into the sketchbook has just been less and less. So I'm going to try my best to see if I can like re-spark my love to draw on my sketchbook again, just a little bit. And maybe it's just me needing to prioritize my time a little bit better, or just maybe I'm tired in general. It could be either or at this point. But I feel like it's not too abnormal, at least for myself, in terms of where I am in the sketchbook currently. So I'm definitely past, let's see, I'm past 2/3 for sure. Or maybe I'm at 2/3 now that I'm looking at this. So I'm at, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I think I have 4 to 5 signatures left. Yeah, about 4. I'm at the end of the 4th one. So I have about 3 signatures. I think it's called signatures, right? Maybe I'll have to look it up. Okay, I looked it up. Yes, it's signatures. So basically it's like the little bundle of paper that people tend to like fold in half, and little sections of those are called signatures. Then you bind all of those together to make your text block, if I'm reading that correctly. So yeah, I only have a few signatures left, which is very exciting because I would love, once again, as I usually say at this point in my sketchbook, to finally start anew and just restart to give, I don't know, a different energy to the sketchbook. This one I'm having like a love-hate relationship, and partially it's because of like a strong start with a particular fandom, and then that fandom kind of goes up in flames, and then you kind of lose motivation to even draw anything because that was like your current low-key obsession at the time. So yeah, I guess I rambled my way through this entire video, but this is like my previous page of Reimu that I did with 2 colors versus this one, which I feel is a little bit more loose, but I actually like this one a little bit more. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's session in my sketchbook, and I'll see you guys next time in the next video. Bye!